Let's get into the energy debate again, and there's a lot of talk, of course, about renewables versus nuclear, and not enough talk about the stuff we actually really rely on now, that is mainly coal, but also a lot of gas. The Prime Minister today on his X account, his Twitter account, actually put this thing out trying to scare people about where a nuclear reactor will go. He's shown all sorts of pretty places around the country. I mean, it's just laughable, really, that this is what the Prime Minister's reduced to, a sort of blatant, silly scare campaign about nuclear energy. And in the Parliament, of course, the Climate and Energy Minister, Chris Bowen, was going on with his normal nonsense.
We know from the CSIRO and so many experts that no nuclear in Australia will be up and running before 2040, and Senator Canavan, as he always does, said the quiet bit out loud, because this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. They want to delay renewables and they want to keep coal in the system for longer because they just don't believe in renewable energy.
Yeah, there's all sorts of politics and all sorts of silliness going on in this debate. In the end, what you and I want is reliable energy, and we'd actually like it at an affordable price too. So let's check in now with Matt Rennie from Rennie Advisory. He joins me from Brisbane. Good to talk to you again, Matt. We've got this debate going on. It's partisan, it's ideological. Some of it's linked into the engineering and the needs of the country. But this is happening while we were looking at a summer where AEMO is warning us that if we get a normal summer, we could be faced with energy shortages. How dire is the situation looking?
Well, I think AEMO is right to be concerned that what occurred a couple of years ago in 2022, I think, put a shock through the system. I'm not too concerned about the prospect for outages this summer. I think AEMO's got enough tools in the toolkit to be able to either bring new generation on or pull on some of the mechanisms they've got with major customers to reduce their own load. But I am concerned about whether we're going to get there in time more generally.
Yeah, and the thing that worries me is we haven't really had a hot summer since 2022. You know, we've had a couple of mild summers, so that's really meant that the normal load we get in, especially late January, February in southeastern Australia, hasn't been there. So we'll see what transpires. As you say, it's the longer-term outlook that's a worry. Now, Labor likes to mock the coalition because nuclear couldn't be on stream till 2040, and then you might have to keep a lot of coal going till then. But the point is, isn't it, that the renewables won't be able to do the job by 2040. So if we don't keep coal going through till 2040, surely we're going to need a lot more gas generation.
Well, I think at the moment, it seems that AEMO and government are sort of learning on the run a bit. About 4 years ago, there was a forecast that we were going to need something like 23 gigawatts of renewables by 2030. The latest integrated system plan says we're going to need 57 gigawatts, so that's 57,000 megawatts by 2030, and then 90,000 megawatts of renewables by 2040. And of course, the big risk at the moment is that the transmission system in particular is struggling to be able to connect all that in time, which is obviously one of the broader concerns.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of communities opposing wind farms and solar factories, as they call them, going in around the country, as well as transmission lines. Some of them have been reduced in scale, some have been knocked back, some have been slowed down. Can you tell us about that renewables rollout, just how far behind schedule it is?
Yeah, well, at the moment, there's plenty of people wanting to invest in renewables, as in the solar and wind and the battery assets. There was no shortage there. There's no shortage of equipment, and there's certainly no shortage of labour that we can see yet to be able to get it all built. What we are struggling with at the moment is the transmission connection around that for a variety of reasons. And you quite rightly mentioned the social impacts of that, and certainly that's a driver of some of the delays. But I'm not sure that they're unreasonable delays. It's really important that landowners and that some of the regional communities get their fair say, and that these things take as long as they need to in some respects.
Yeah, it's a hell of a worry. Tell us in a word then, are we in strife in the near to medium term?
Well, I think in the medium term is a bit of a concern. When we look at the reason for some of the delays that we can see, I think one of the words that people use is social licence, and some of the recommendations that are flying around is that we should streamline social licence and that we should sort of make these approvals a bit more quicker. There's a bunch of reasons why transmission projects are behind schedule. One of them is that the connections process is cumbersome, and there's certainly some reforms going on there, and they should happen as quickly as possible. But I'm not too sure that we want to be streamlining some of the community benefits side and some of the social licence pieces.
Yeah.
When we dig into what's causing those, they range from amenity all the way through to, arguments over whether the land values are going to go down and even the use of agricultural land.
Yeah, livelihoods and all. Yeah, if you crash through that too quickly, you create all sorts of trouble. Thanks for joining us, Matt. I appreciate it. Matt Rennie there from Rennie Advisory.